And welcome back to a new post today. Today let's look at the class struggle of Karl Marx. So Karl Marx spoke about historical materialism, in which he said society evolved because of the economic relations and the social stratification that was caused because of it. And he said that history has different modes of production, and based on that we have different stages of society that has evolved. So the primitive communism state, in which there was no stratification, no inequality, everybody were hunters and gatherers, so minimal social stratification. Asiatic mode that was found in the non-Western societies like ancient India and China, where there was communal land ownership, and the powerful held the positions in the state, and the labor paid tribute and tax to the powerful. The ancient mode is the third, where we have found in the classical Greece and Rome, and where we have the division between the masters and the slaves. Then in the feudal mode, which is found in Europe during the medieval time, we have feudal lords owning the land, and the serfs worked for the lords on their land. And we have the capitalist mode, which is the next, where we find it in the current day, and we have private ownership of means of production by the bourgeoisie or the capitalist class, and the wage labor or the proletariat provides the working and the labor to the bourgeoisie class. And finally, because of the social change and the differences between the societies in every era or stage, there is the final stage called upon Karl Marx is the communist mode, where there would be a revolution, an end of class distinctions, and a classless society, which he says. So with regard to this, Karl Marx spoke of class struggle, and he says class struggle is an inherent feature of every stage of society from history, and the primary engine of social change. This class struggle leads to revolution, social change in the society, and therefore it's the major inherent characteristic for social change to occur. He argued that society is fundamentally divided into antagonistic classes based on their relationship based on the mode of production. So we've seen from the ancient mode, Asiatic mode, to the feudal mode, and then capitalist mode, and then finally to the communist mode. He says that capitalist society is composed of majorly two classes, that is the bourgeoisie, the capitalist class, who owns the means of production like the land, labor, factories, etc., and they maximize the profit. The proletariat or the working class is the majority of the population which do not own any means of production, and they must sell their labor to the bourgeoisie in exchange for the wages. He identifies the interests of these two classes as being opposed and created uninterrupted and open fight or conflicts, which is due to exploitation. The core of the conflict is exploitation. Workers produce more through their labor, and they receive less in wages. The difference of the surplus value is kept by the capitalists in the form of profit. The next is opposing interest. The bourgeoisie seek to keep the wages low and maximize working hours to increase profit, while the proletariat fights for better wages, improved working condition, and social justice. Inequality and polarization. Marx believed that capitalism leads to growing gap between the rich and the poor. The wealth is concentrated in few hands, and the working class keep expanding. This is called as class polarization. And he says that class consciousness leads to revolution. For the struggle to move beyond an individual workplace and for a force to bring about a societal change, working class now must develop consciousness. This is what Karl Marx says. He says this is a shared awareness among the working class of the common interests, of the collective oppression, and the potential power that is hidden within this group. Karl Marx predicted that this growing awareness and inherent contradictions of the capitalism would eventually lead to a proletarian revolution, and the goal of this revolution is to overthrow the capitalist system, abolish all means of private property, means of production, and establish a classless communist society where the production is owned collectively and inequality is eliminated from the society. Marx theory poses that this struggle is the fundamental driver in every stage of society for social and historical change, from feudalism to capitalism and eventually leading to communism. The criticisms of Marx theory are wide, so they come majorly from Max Weber and Ralph Dahrendorf. So one is oversimplification. Karl Marx focused too much on the economic class, oversimplifies the societal dynamics. Other factors also cause differences between the classes, that is race, gender, ethnicity, religion, nationality. These also create inequalities, these also create power structures, and the inequalities just cannot be reduced to economic class alone. Number 2 is failed predictions. Several of Marx's decree predictions have not materialized. The middle class has grown substantially well in modern economic capitalist societies rather than disappearing. The working class living standards have improved because of welfare reforms, labor rights, etc. Proletarian revolution did not occur in advanced capitalist industrialized nations as predicted by Karl Marx. Economic determinism is another criticism. Marx's theory to focus too much on the economic base as a sole driver of history, neglecting the role of culture, politics, ideology, individual agency in shaping society. And he focused too much on antagonism rather than cooperation. The theory is also criticized for focusing too much on conflict rather than in ignoring the instances of class cooperation, solidarity that also contribute to social progress. An inadequate theory of the state. Critics contend that Marx viewed the state merely as an instrument of ruling class. Modern democracies, however, suggest that the state can mediate between various interests and act with some autonomy from the economic elites as well. Overall, Karl Marx theory is very useful in political science and sociology, but it is not without any criticisms as the above. For example, oversimplification, failed predictions, economic determinism, and focusing more on antagonism and cooperation. However, it's a very important contribution from Karl Marx to study about stratification and how the society has evolved, and what are the reasons of conflict as well, and even what are the reasons for social change or revolutions also. So if you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to wait for my class, another session tomorrow in sociology. If you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video. I shall see you in my next session with a new topic tomorrow with a new thinker, and until then, it's happy learning.